Socialism forward. Capitalism passive. Thank you very much, Comrade National Chair. Through the General Secretary, let me greet the officials of the SACP and greet the entire Central Committee present here. And through the Deputy President of our ANC, greet the National Executive Committee and all structures of the ANC present. Indeed, Comrade Chair, let me observe all the protocol that was established, in particular by the General Secretary, when he was delivering a political report yesterday. So that I don't waste your time, I observe all of those, except to specifically observe a protocol of where I come from in this podium. The Congress of South African Trade Unions, the Central Executive Committee members present here, the national office bearers that are present, and say that, Nopala, yesterday when we were acknowledging the affiliate of COSATU, you caused me problems because you announced leadership of affiliates that were actually not leadership of affiliates in this matter. For instance, you said Pope was led by the GS, while Pope was led by the president who's here, Contextualizing. You announced someone to be leading SACP, while the president of SACP, Comrade Pope, was here. You announced the acting general secretary leading NUM when the president of NUM, Comrade Dan, was seated in front of you. And that in COSATU is not a small matter. It's not a small matter, Comrade. And then there's an affiliate, I don't know what it has done to you, you didn't announce its presence here. And it complained to me in my capacity as the deputy president of COSATU that you didn't recognize them. And then I responded in my capacity as a Central Committee member, I said, the problem is that we don't see a difference between you and the party. So we didn't think it was necessary for us to acknowledge you as an affiliate of COSATU present here. That's how the legal leadership is so comrades, we want to, as the Congress of South African Trade Union, first welcome and appreciate the invitation to come and share some few thoughts in this important occasion of the 5th National Special Congress of the SACP. We will not give a message of support we don't have. We will just engage with the things on the table of our revolution. But from the onset, we want to say, at least now we know what we came here for and what is the task of this Congress as articulated by the General Secretary. And we therefore, our message is to support the posture and the articulation as was raised by the GS. That's our message. But comrades, this Congress takes place at a very critical moment of our revolution, of our alliance, of our country now, and of our country in the future. We made at a time when the class that which you are a vanguard of is restless. A class that is disappointed, that is disillusioned, class and the masses that is afraid of their future and the future of their children. We see them on a daily basis in the workplaces, unsure of their job security, whether tomorrow they're going to be retrenched or not. Or whether or not they will be able to afford the cost of living, the kind of wages they are going to get from their bosses. We see them in their communities struggling to make ends meet, unable to find job, unable to afford the basic necessities that are necessary for human consumption. We see them asking questions, a lot of questions, to the Alliance leadership, of which some of us we don't have. We see them in the marches that have been organized by the workers' formations, COSATU, and other working class organizations that have been organized by the party, that have been organized by SAMCO, as the leader was saying here, including our vibrant ANC Youth League recently. They are asking questions about the direction of this country, the trajectory of our revolution, to us as the leaders of the Alliance. And Comrade Chair, because since the fateful day where we suffered an electoral loss on the ballot on the 29th of May, as an Alliance leader, as the leader of COSATU, I have not sat in a meeting with my Alliance counterpart to discuss the moment, to understand where we're taking the country, to be taken into confidence about the strategy of our liberation movement about the future of this country. I therefore have no answers to the constituents I lead about what is the future of the country, what is the strategy of the Alliance, where are we taking the country given the setback we've suffered. It's 9 months or so, almost 9 months after the election, the national leadership of the Revolutionary Alliance have not had a meeting to discuss the moment, the state of the NTR, and where are we going in the future of the country. Thus, makes us to be unable, at least some of us, to provide answers when questions are asked about the direction of our country. In a nutshell, we are meeting at a time when the class contradictions are deepening or are sharpening. There is a class in this country that is disparate for a state-sponsored healthcare coverage. And there's a class in this country that is disparate for more and more people to be sick so that profit can be made out of the sick population. There's a class in this country that wants more people to remain poor. And there's a class in this country that is fighting for a living wage that has thus far successfully achieved the national minimum wage, and it is fighting continuously to defend the national minimum wage. But there's a class that wants to condemn workers in this country to be poor, to slavery, and to not afford a basic amenities of human development. There's a class that remembers that in 1976, kids in this country died, others arrested, others disappeared, we don't know where they are today. Not only fighting for equal education, but refusing to be forced to be taught by a language that is foreign to them, which is Afrikaans. But there's a class today that is fighting that not only for us to continue the racial segregation of the education, but is fighting to force us to learn in the language we can't comprehend. It's a class that wants our kids, even when they are a majority in the school, speaking Zulu, Xhosa, speaking Tsonga, Venda, but they must learn Afrikaans, otherwise they will fail. That is a class that exists in our society at a time when the South African Communist Party is convening a special Congress. There is a class that has benefited and continues to benefit from the Employment Equity Act enshrined and ushered in by our revolution. There is a class today that is fighting to ensure that South Africa remains perpetually unequal, not only unequal, but the most unequal society in the world, even in the workplace. The class that refuses that there must be no class inequality in the workplace. There must be no gender inequality in the workplace. There must be no racial inequality in the workplace. The class that does not recognize that the injustices of the past must be rooted out, and those who are previously disadvantaged must be fast forwarded in terms of development. These classes are taking their struggles everywhere, in the street, in the boardrooms of negotiations, in the bargaining councils, and in courts. We are in court on the National Health Insurance. It is class matter. We are in court on the Employment Equity Act. It is a class matter. We are likely to be in court on the Biller Act. It is a class matter. We are in court, comrades, to appoint community health care workers permanently, to provide healthcare service to our people. We are in court as COSATU in defense of our municipal workers, 360,000 of them, that the political elite of this country saw it fit that they must take away their political rights to participate in political organizations in their communities. They must choose whether they must work for a local government or they must do politics. We are awaiting the outcome of the Constitutional Court. We have spent more than 5 million as COSATU in defense of the municipal workers for the right to hold political offices in the political parties while they wait for the municipality. In other words, the political elite of this country sought to disenfranchise municipal workers and the public sector workers from being political activists on the ground to change the lives of our people in communities, confine them to the workplace and the workplace only, and leave politics to the elite, and leave politics to other people. We had to go to court. We had to spend the money we don't have to defend the municipal workers. To date, we are in the hands of the Constitutional Court judges about that outcome. It's not class neutral, that kind of an attempt. Now, this is an affirmation, Comrade Chair, that whatever we do in the country, there's an ongoing class struggle that is ever ending. Sometimes it is open and sometimes it is hidden, but it is ongoing. It is also an affirmation that the class struggle is perpetual, and any revolution that is in the kind of a class struggle we're in must understand that that class struggle will only end when another class is eliminated. Any revolution that does not seek to annihilate any class opponent is not a genuine revolution. A genuine revolution will understand that a revolution will only end when the class opponent is defeated. And that is why, Comrade Chair, when SACP requested 10 more delegates, and they motivated and said, it is because we're the first union in COSATU, I don't know if that's true, to adopt socialism. And we want to come to the house of socialism to affirm and recommit. It is because COSATU itself, SACP and many other unions of COSATU, and their formations, but more importantly, the launch of COSATU, did not only adopt the Freedom Charter as a fundamental policy to guide our struggle, but also adopted Marxism-Leninism as a guiding theory for this class struggle. We also adopted and committed to fight, build, and defend socialism. Of course, we adopted the National Anti-Imperialist Democratic Revolution. And we adopted and we chose friends because we committed to affiliate, to associate, and to form working class organizations internationally and in the country that are going to help us to pursue this national democratic revolution as well as a struggle for socialism. And we chose political parties, the National Liberation Movement and the South African Communist Party. We entered into interclass alliance, communist and a multi-class organization, the Liberation Movement. We understood that in the National Liberation Movement, it's a multi-class. There are also those at the time used to be called nationalists who only concerned themselves with the national liberation and not so much with the class contradiction of the NTR. We knew that at some point we will have to part ways, or we will have to proceed with the organization that pursues socialism, so because that is our logical conclusion of the NTR, because the NTR to us was a minimum program, not a maximum program. And therefore, from the church, moving forward, the future political discourse of this country will depend on who is going to marshal and coordinate the ever-growing discontent and disillusionment of our masses. The question is it going to be the left or is it going to be the right that marshal this anger, this growing discontentment of our masses? Who is going to marshal? Is it the left or is it the right? That's a question for this Congress as we speak today. And I didn't say, is it the ANC or is it the SACP? I said, is it the left or is it the right? Because I'm not here to ask Congress to choose political parties. We chose political parties since our inceptions. We chose the ANC, we chose the South African Communist Party. We understood that in the ANC there's the left, there's the right. So who is going to marshal the growing discontent of the popular masses of our people in the country? Is it the left? Is it the right? Now, comrades here, because now we want to save your time. On the current discussions that are taking place, we want to say the following, that there by Network, we were not there. We were not part of the DDG of the presidency who went and signed with the Solidarity and Hwabube on the Bella Act. The deadline for us on the Bella Act is not today, was the day the president signed the Bella Act into law. It's the day that the Bella Act was supposed to be. We therefore want to announce and confirm that when SATU goes to the street, they will not go alone. Because education is a societal matter, it's not a separate matter. Education of our children is not class neutral, and therefore will defend our class in as far as education is concerned. Secondly, we have taken a decision as COSATU in the last Central Executive Committee that we will go to join the government of South Africa in court as friends of court on the national health insurance. We will equally join on the fight that is brought by the Democratic Alliance against the government of South Africa on the Employment Equity Act. We cannot, 24 years of that Act's existence, allow it to be reversed. Of course, comrades, this class struggle that is continuing, our class opponents are also emboldened. They were on the street, Comrade Chair, a month ago, in Pretoria, wearing a flag and colors that represent a history of division in this country. They didn't go to the Union Building nor to Mandela Statue, they went to 4th Record Street to ask their ancestors, that Baba, we miss apartheid, we miss colonialism, can you reignite it? Here we are. Here we have our flags, here we have our colors, can you bring back our fatherland? They were fighting against the Employment Equity Act They were fighting against National Health Insurance. They were fighting against Bila Act. They were fighting against the national minimum wage. That is the right-wing class that is so emboldened to take their fight to the street, to NEDLEC, and to courts. The left must respond in kind. When the workers of this country were celebrating their Workers' Day on the 1st of May, the Democratic Alliance were plotting a march to Consolidate House the following day. They marched to Consolidate House against the National Health Insurance. They marched to Consolidate House to declare the workers and the working class as the enemy number one of the state on the 2nd of May. Because of our fight for national health insurance, national minimum wage, they are saying we are the cause of the high unemployment in the country. Of course, we were left alone to defend ourselves. We went to elections knowing that we are enemy number one for supporting this manifesto of the ANC that has a national minimum wage in it. We went to the elections knowing we were enemy of the Democratic Alliance for supporting the national health insurance in the manifesto of the ANC. And to our horror, immediately after the elections, we were asked, our political elite in this country, in our movement, in religious sectors, in business sectors, to accept that all of a sudden the Democratic Alliance loves us as workers. And in fact, we embrace them, and in fact, we can move forward with them. We remembered that in the early 1990s, when we were to enact the Labour Relations Act into law, which included in it the right to strike and the right for collective bargaining, the Democratic Party led by the Tony Leon marched to the Parliament to prevent the parliamentarians from passing that law into that act into law. We had to march ourselves to ensure that we strengthen the parliamentarians to pass that Liberation Act into law. We are not surprised that they are marching against the Labour Act today. We are not surprised that they are marching against the Employment Equity Act today. We are not surprised that they are fighting so ever to amend the labor laws in this country to reflect the pre-1994 South Africa. Yet, they are supposed to be our leaders in government, and we're supposed to smile and clap hands. We want to say, Kosato, much as we're not educated, we know the difference between the DA and the ANC. As much as we're not educated, we know that the ANC and GNU are not spelled the same thing, same way. There's a G in the GNU, there's an A in the ANC. So it's not the same thing. So when we say GNU, we don't say ANC. The ANC has no reason to be angry with us when we don't like the GNU. That is no reason whatsoever, because ANC is not GNU. They are just part of the GNU, but they are not the GNU. They have no reason to be angry with us when we've got problems with people who are in the GNU, because we don't mean them. Ufana nokudala masithi phansi ngamasela umuntu akwadi ngathi sithe phansi yena. Ngathi ngabala kuyisela. Ngamasela manje niyasithuka. Sizange sithi ulisela sithe phansi ngamasela. But we're taking responsibility of what we are saying. It's like taking responsibility of being the GNU, which is not you, you are just part of it. Therefore, don't force us to love people who hate us. If you found one another in terms of life, good. It's okay. But don't force us to love them, because they hate us. They declared so. Thirdly, comrades, the discussions that the Communist Party is having now, from where we stand as concerned, should not cause problems in the alliance. We don't expect problems nor divisions in the alliance. Instead, we expect more strength and more unity in the alliance. We are not going to participate in a discussion that will be characterized or described as division or even leaving the ANC, because we don't understand it like that. If you listen to who we are. We chose the party, we chose the ANC. We chose the NDR, we chose the Socialist. We chose the class struggle, we chose the national liberation struggle. They go together. We're not going anywhere, but we are going to pursue socialism. We're a part of socialism. This needed discussion in the alliance to understand and grasp it. There was no problem when, as an alliance, and the South African Communist Party, as a registered political party with its own rights, contest the state, continuously campaigned and voted for the African National Congress. There was no issue in the alliance. We don't expect an issue now in the alliance when the discussion of the South African Communist Party about the state power is not the same with forming a new party or breaking away from the ANC and forming a new party. It is an alliance partner who is a political party who has always been with you in trenches. He wants to continue to be with you in the trenches to defend the National Democratic Revolution. That's how we understand it. And therefore, comrades, of course we'll interact with this thing in our own space as COSATU. We want to say, every time there's an election, COSATU engages in a robust engagement in the congresses about this matter. There's no point where we walk up and support any political party without a discussion in the federation. Just to take you back as a last point, 2017, you went to your Congress, you decided that you want to contest state. You went to Metsimahulu, you blamed us for not supporting you, the Krumman Communist Party. We didn't support you because we did not have a resolution to support you. Because our support is always backed by a Congress resolution. We didn't support you not because we hated you. It is because we did not have a mandate to support you. But because of your resolutions, in 2018 we went to our National Congress and we said, in 2019 we are going to support the ANC-headed, reconfigured alliance in the elections. Not the ANC, not the alliance, but the ANC-headed, reconfigured alliance in 2019. That's our resolution of 2018. And then we said, if the reconfiguration of the alliance doesn't happen, we will, in 2021, mobilize for the overwhelming victory of the South African Communist Party in the 2021 local government elections. That's a resolution of 2018 Congress. We arrived in 2021. The alliance was not reconfigured, owing to what the General Secretary was saying. In fact, General Secretary, let me remind you the exact word of Comrade Ace Makashule in that political council. He asked, what is the status or the standing of this document in the ANC-NEC? When we were done, when we were supposed to go to the Alliance Summit, things meant the Alliance Reconfiguration paper. The question from the SG was, tell me, comrades, what is the status of this document in the NEC or the ANC? We knew this thing is dead in the water. It's not going anywhere. Then, we arrived in 2021, the Alliance was not reconfigured. The party was not on the ballot. They were still warm-upping on the touchline. But because of our historical mission of the NDR, we went to fight, support, campaign for the ANC as we did in this election in 2024. So now that you are here, you are saying what you are saying, we hear you. We will go in our corner, we will engage with this process, but we don't expect any divisions in the alliance. We don't interpret this thing as a breaking of the alliance. Of course, we expect a class rupture. Because the class contradictions are heightening and deepening. So the rupture will happen in all of our formations of the alliance in class terms. In the ANC, in the party, in COSATU, it will affect, there will be a class rupture on this question. Because it is now a class matter. Chairperson, I want to end by saying the following, which I want to quote here. I want to then pet no more and then try to pass we want to say to the Congress here and remind them of the words of Khalil Gibran when he wrote that change is never easy. We must be under no illusion that any change that we must undertake is going to be easy. And if anything, we are going to fight to let go, and we are going to fight to hold on. But we cannot stop change, because change is constant, just like a class struggle is constant. There is also an inherent challenge that comes with change, and that we must always be mindful of, and that is things change. It is difficult at times and almost impossible to control everything that comes with it. There is no science nor mathematics that can predict with absolute accuracy the outcomes of a human behavior. We might have to come to terms with the reality that in some instances, material conditions may force us to take control or be part of changes whose ending we may not be able to predict and control with absolute accuracy. And it does appear that we have reached that moment, and a moment that is not peculiar in human history. History, including in biblical terms, is littered with many examples of people who shed deep bonds, including blood, to separate ways as a result of deep differences and the need to keep peace only for their paths to cross again in future in a much better, stronger, mutually benefiting and sustainable manner. We must be not boxed into a corner that suggests that for any change to happen, we must have all the answers. Abraham and Lot parted ways when they had sharp differences in the Bible. They later reconnected and rescued one another in a much stronger and better, in a mutual benefit. But of this, the alliance will be stronger, reconfigured organically on the ground in the state.
It's just that I've got to discipline the comrades who are sitting in front here.
Yeah.
The first one.
Angazi kwenzakalani kodwa yabona ukuthi sharpness. I'm going to check my settings up.
When Comrade Mike was talking
Check
about
display settings. Yes.
a rapture, and I stood up to move towards him to say your time is up, they say there comes the rapture. As Marxists, we must be very specific with how we use words. You can't use the word rapture carelessly. Mike was very specific. Before ngibize upresident we-ANC. ngiyashisa ake nginiyeke niyishaye nje nokuthatha kuthelo nje Comrades, order. Let's now give a chance to the Deputy President of the African National Congress, who is also Deputy President of the Republic, Comrade Congress.
When Comrade Blade was saying the speakers must not start songs, he said, no, but I'll exempt you. And I said to him, I don't think I still know how to sing. Oh, Holy Fatambo, Holy Fatambo, respect Comrade Chairperson's time. Comrades, when you were singing as if Uni GNU, I was very happy because Comrade Chingange said GNU as ANC. I'm here for the ANC. But what I will do, I will take an opportunity to explain to you because it's very important. safika kanjani la.
Angazi
But then we have to spend time to see how we recover. When I was speaking in one of the provinces, I spent a lot of time talking about the period of recovery. Chairperson of the session, Comrade Late Zimande, who's the chairperson of the South African Communist Party, the General Secretary of the Communist Party, Comrade Soli Mapaila, and members of the Central Committee, former President Thabo Mbeki, members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC here present, President of COSATU, Comrade Zingiswalosi, and other leaders of COSATU, including Deputy President who had just spoken, leaders of SANCO who are here present, President of the Veterans League, Comrade Snuki Zikalala, veterans and stalwarts of our movement who are present here, leadership of the Young Communist League, the ANC Women's League, ANC Youth League, MKMVA, and other fraternal organizations. Kidumedise, Ausidi Mpohani, and all other esteemed guests who are here. And last but not least, you, the delegates. Katamanga Semasebe. Comrades, on behalf of the National Executive Committee of the ANC and its entire membership, I extend to you warm, fraternal, and revolutionary greetings. It is an honor to deliver the message of the NEC to this special Congress of the SACP, our trusted ally in the execution of the National Democratic Revolution. It is in this party where we learned how to better understand how to apply dialectics in confronting the apartheid regime's policies of racial segregations, class and gender inequality, and on how best to resolve these contradictions. Marxism-Leninism as a tool of analysis have guided us over the years in waging the struggle to realize the national democratic society. We are confident, Chairperson, that at the end of this special Congress, many will appreciate the analysis and resolutions that will emerge, but more importantly, appreciate the practical solution on how best we can resolve the ongoing contradictions in the post-apartheid South Africa. I was happy, Chairperson, when I heard you saying we must be quick so that delegates can go to commissions, because we want these resolutions that must take us forward. So I was very happy, comrades, when we decided who will come and address the Congress today. The top 7 of the ANC, someone said, I think we should send the DP. So, and I really agreed, because when I'm with the SACP, I feel at home. Comrade Soli knows why. I feel at home when I'm with the SACP, so I didn't make any excuses. I immediately said, yes, I'm available. Comrade delegates, this week marks the commemoration of the 42nd anniversary of the 1982 Maseru massacre in Lesotho, when the oppressive apartheid army attacked the homes of our great Mkhonto of combatants, such as Comrade Krisani, brutally murdering 30 ANC guerrillas and 12 Basotho nationals. They also inflicted injuries on many others, including children. Throughout our struggle, they continued to attack our people in many parts of the world, particularly in the continent. Our people continue to face the murderous onslaught of the apartheid regime. At the end, we defeated them and have achieved a democratic breakthrough. However, comrades, as we meet today, the African National Congress, the leader of the alliance, suffered a strategic setback in the recent elections in May of this year. We went into this election with the determination to achieve a decisive victory in order to continue our transformation agenda. However, we significantly lost our majority, achieving only 40% of the votes cast, leaving us unable to form a government on our own. You know, during the campaign, as I was going around the country, the campaign was very vibrant at the end, and people will ask me, what do you think the ANC will get? And I'll say, I think 57%. And some comrades says, no, 60 or 62. So the 40% came as a big shock to us as a leadership of the ANC. Our people voted. Some stayed away, of course, but they voted in a manner that did not give any single party the majority to govern. But we respect and accept their wishes. So we can't go and insult our people. You didn't vote for us. We have to accept that they gave us only 40%. With that, comrades, as the NEC started a process of detailed analysis to determine what really went wrong. There are some places where we couldn't quite understand what really happened. I remember the president went to KZN, and in that area it was really packed. And when the results came, we got nothing. And the president was saying, but what's happening here? So we decided, I think we need time to sit and analyze properly this situation. So we've started a process, and we want it to take place at all levels. Regions, provinces, national as well, because we need to engage with branches as well. And we will also, as we do so, engage with the alliance, because the alliance also have views of what do they think went wrong. So I accept the criticism by the DP of COSATU that this process is taking too long. So we need to fast track it, but do this detailed analysis. But comrades, once we realize that we've lost the election, we had 40%. The NEC then engaged in a detailed discussion to chart a way forward on how we can continue to hold on to state power, given this setback. We considered a number of options during those deliberations. One of them was maybe we should just go to the opposition benches. And other comrades said, no, we can't give in just like that. Others said, well, maybe a 10 parties came in. The others decided, for different reasons, that we won't have time to go into during this conference. So although we invited everyone, and not everyone came, we remain open to continue to engage with parties in Parliament. But what the President did, which helped to pull us together, was that there must be some principles and a minimum program of action that brings us together in this kind of arrangement. And one of them was respect for the Constitution, the Bill of Rights in its entirety, a united South Africa, and the rule of law. So that is the first thing. The second one was commitment to non-racialism and non-sexism. Third, social justice, redress and equity, and the alleviation of poverty. Fourth, human dignity and the progressive realization of socio-economic rights. Fifth, nation building, social cohesion and unity in diversity. Fifth, peace and stability and safe communities, especially for women and children. Seventh, accountability, transparency, and community participation in government. 8, evidence-based policy and decision-making. 9, professional, merit-based, non-partisan, developmental, public service that put people first. 10, lastly, integrity, good governance, and accountable leadership. So the President said, if you want to come in this partnership, not only must you agree to this, but you must sign that agree. So the parties that came in, their leaders had to sign individually the document that they agree with these principles. But they were not imposed on them. They were given an opportunity to look at them, discuss them, and then sign them if they agree. So they all sign once they agree with this. So this is what is guiding us all the time as we work in this partnership. So I would like to assure you, comrades, that we take these principles as the principles that will ensure that we continue to defend and advance the gains of the National Democratic Revolution. There will be challenges, of course, because bakhona abazamayo ukusikwazi inside there. It's not easy, but we decided that we have to continue to defend the gains of the National Democratic Revolution. So in short, comrades, let me say that the formation of the GNU was not our ideal scenario. when we took the decision. We have decided, though, at the moment that we will try and use it to try to assist us to continue to advance the struggle to achieve a national democratic society as envisioned in the Freedom Charter. Comrades, we want to ensure that whatever we do in this partnership or in this marriage, we must make sure that we stick to the manifesto of the African National Congress. Remember, we went to the election with the manifesto. So the programs that we are implementing, we are making sure that they don't deviate from that manifesto that we took to the people and the people voted us on the basis of that manifesto. But we are equally aware that the successful implementation of the National Democratic Revolution hangs on the unity of the entire movement. We will therefore continue to fight for the unity of the alliance and the movement as a whole. And this we must do in honor of those who were imprisoned, who were maimed, and some who lost their lives for the attainment of this freedom and democracy. And I can say, comrades, without fear of contradiction, that the African National Congress will never betray our people, especially the poor and the working class. Comrade delegates, the outcome of this May election was a clear sign that the renewal of our movement can no longer be delayed. We must take steps to rebuild structures of the organization at all levels. We must take steps to rebuild these structures, invest in the process of recovery, and strengthening the renewal program. One of the interventions that the NEC decided on